Welcome to the Weather Guru podcast for August 15th, 2024. We're talking about Hurricane Ernesto, Category 1 hurricane with 85-mile-an-hour winds. It's the latest 5 p.m. advisory here. As you can see, it's making a beeline toward Bermuda here, and it's struggling here with dry air entrainment in the southwestern quadrant as well as the western quadrant blowing across it. And that's shearing the system very heavily here, and that's why it's not rapidly intensifying. But it's expected to make Category 2 strength, possibly borderline Category 3 before it's all said and done past Bermuda. But right now, it's going to be encountering that heavy shear and cooler water temperatures, by the way, up into the Bermuda area. As you can see here right now, Hurricane Center pressure is down to 972 millibars. Movement is north at 13 miles an hour. That's been a constant all day. It was at 14 miles an hour, but now it's heading directly north at 13 miles an hour, feeling the influence of that Bermuda high there. And it's going to be steering around the squeeze play of the high this pressure that's located over the eastern United States and the high pressure that's located just to the east of Bermuda here, a couple hundred miles to the east. And so Ernesto is going to squeeze play between them, path of least resistance there as it continues to make its impact for Bermuda. So conditions will begin to deteriorate Friday afternoon for Bermuda, and high risk rip currents on the east coast as the waves propagate out from the system here. Now, looking at the local Bermuda weather forecast here from the Bermuda Weather Service here, its closest point of approach to Bermuda is going to be about 30 nautical miles to the west-northwest, so almost a direct hit. They'll be in that eastern eye wall since the system is passing to the west-northwest of them. They'll be in that northeastern to the eastern eye wall of the system there, and it should be about a Category 2 winds, maybe 96 mile an hour, but gusts definitely into 100, maybe 110 maximum in some of those elevated areas in Bermuda, some of those elevated hilltops. But pretty much that's going to be the closest point of approach. So we'll have to see if they count it as a landfall or a direct hit, because it's going to be close. But right now it's forecast to be 30 nautical miles to the west-northwest of Bermuda Islands, and that's almost a direct hit of this island chain here. As you know, but Bermuda's well fortified. They're used to these systems, but this will bring Category 1 sustained winds anywhere from 75 to 80 knots, and then gusts could be high as 95 knots or so officially. But the good news is by Saturday at 3 a.m. the system is already about 100 to 200 miles north of Bermuda, so it's moving very fast here. And then by Sunday morning, it's already 120 miles north of Bermuda. So they'll still be getting some tropical storm force winds on Sunday, but they'll pretty much be pulling away at that point. Conditions will be rapidly improving. So that's great news here for Bermuda. Now, but we just have to wait and see. Still prepare, because power outages could still be likely on the island, among other things. Some limbs down, some trees down. But I expect pretty much minor damage for them with this thing. But hurricane force winds extend out 60 miles from the center, ladies and gentlemen. And tropical storm force winds extend out 265 miles from the center. So tropical storm force winds are guaranteed 100% to be in Bermuda coming up Friday night, Friday afternoon. It should start to make that way. And then sustained hurricane force winds won't be until later on Saturday morning, possibly like around, say, almost lunchtime. By lunchtime, they should be in the thick of it by 11, 12 o'clock lunchtime Saturday. And after that, that'd be the worst of it going towards sunset. And after sunset, when sun goes down, the system will be pulling away, and it should be on the backside of the system there as it pulls away there, Ernesto. So, and by the way, hurricane force winds extending out 60 miles. It also guarantees that Bermuda will have a period of sustained hurricane force winds, because it'll be 30 miles or so to the west. So they'll be in the hurricane force wind zone. But whether or not they get that actual core of the eastern eye wall, or the actual eye passing over the island is yet may be seen. This may be a situation where, like we had Hurricane Nicole back in 2016. A lot of Bermudians remember that. It went directly over the island with 100 mile an hour winds. I believe it was a Cat 2 too, or borderline Cat 2, Cat 3. It's the same kind of situation that we may have. And this also reminds me of Hurricane Fabian that became even closer. Fabian was within 12 nautical miles, same thing, of Dockyard, of west-northwest of Dockyard, on the western side of the island there, Somerset. And it was a Category 3, a bona fide Category 3, and Bermuda had winds gusting over 120 mile an hour, sustained 130, for a period of time for about 6 hours, 7 hours there. So this one is a little bit weaker. But it's not going to be a Fabian or anything like that. But it will be a sustained period of winds between 70 to 90 miles, 95, 100 miles an hour, definitely sometime on Saturday morning, and early Saturday morning, and then by noon, after later on in the afternoon, things will start calming down, Saturday night, late Saturday night after sunset, say 9:30, 10 o'clock on Saturday night, things will be calming down. Still be tropical storm force winds, above 34 knots, but it won't be hurricane force. It'll definitely be pulling away, as the hurricane force winds only extend out about 60 miles or so right now with Ernesto. So you can see here the surface winds here. It pulled through Puerto Rico. They had some as a tropical storm. Basically, it had some damage. No damage reported in Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico, but they did have flooding and power outages for half of the island there. So that was interesting to see that. Our prayers and thoughts go with them as well. Now, and our prayers and thoughts also go with Bermuda as well, because every time you have a storm, every storm is different. So even if you don't have direct impacts, it still could be indirect impacts. The blessing with this is this storm is moving very quickly. So once it gets into Bermuda, and Bermuda's very small too, so that's a blessing in disguise, because the system will just pop over real quick. They may have about maybe 8 to 10 hours of worse weather, and after that, it's just tropical storm gale force conditions that most islands are pretty much used to. And it's not a category 5 or 3 or anything like that, a major hurricane. So that's good news. And then that'll be it. By Sunday 2 p.m., it's all the way well past Bermuda North, and conditions will just be breezy out of the west from Bermuda, below tropical storm strength, and the sun will be out, and it'll just be a better day, a much better day there. So you can see how the tropical storm force wind field here, you can see here in orange how it's blown over. Those tops are blown over, and that's why I expanded so much, because there's so much shear going on down here with these two squeeze play between two high pressure systems there, and you can see that's why the wind field expanded, because there's so much shear, dry air and wind shear affecting the system here, all out here, and you can see the ragged tops of cirrus clouds here fanning out clockwise. The shear is very affecting the western side, southwestern quadrant, and the northern side here, and it's getting smushed, it's getting compact down, it's not vertically stacked. And the eye, you can see here, is a very elongated eye. It's not an open eye, but it's a ragged eye with central dense overcast CDO inside here, as you can see. And you can see it's just having a hard time wrapping around itself, developing that core. And there's actually there was explosive bursts of convection you can see here toward the end of there, but this hasn't got itself together. So this will probably end up being a category 2. I would say maybe 110 maximum sustained winds if it makes it to that. And then that's it. That'll be as it passes Bermuda, and then Bermuda will be into a category 1 force winds with category 2 gusts occasionally, and then that's it. That'll be Ernesto's life. And then we have to watch out with Nova Scotia. The Canadian Maritimes, Prince Edward Island maybe can get cut by this on late Monday night into Tuesday morning before it races off to become extra tropical out in the middle of the cold North Atlantic out there. So that's what we have going on with Ernesto. Thank you so much for joining me on this update. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.